Welcome to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm your host, Joy Taylor. We've got a packed show today. Skip, Shannon, let's get to it.
What is up? Happy Tuesday. Welcome into Undisputed live from Los Angeles. I'm Holly Saunders here with Skip Bayless, Shannon Sharpe. And the last time I was here, the smoking goat was here.
Yeah. Well, this time he brought in old smoking goat shoes, old Skip Bayless. Them old ketchup bottoms.
Are those to distract the audience from your arguments that are usually pretty pathetic?
Oh, I'm about to win this first. I'm
know.
about to win this first one.
Are you?
I'm about to win this first one. Yeah.
Holly, how are you? Welcome back to Undisputed.
Thank
you
you.
remember how the game is played here.
Absolutely.
I'm always right, and he's not to be trusted.
Holly.
You have to keep him in his place. You have to watch him because he's going to try to butter you up right now. Go ahead. Go ahead.
How are you doing
Stage
today? It's
is
good to
yours.
see you again.
There we go. There
we
go.
don't see each
Yep.
other
That's
nearly
how the
enough.
game
How
is.
you doing
Nearly
today?
enough.
Yeah, good to see you.
You've been watching all the golf for the past 5 weeks, I'm sure.
Yes.
All of it, yeah?
Look,
You know,
awesome.
I have watched you a lot on. I even watched the Cup. What was the Cup? I don't know what it was.
Oh, Curtis Cup. Yeah.
I was watching that.
Really?
See, I watch Holly as opposed to you trying to fake that you watch Holly.
I
I'm
know
going to lean in
Curtis
this
Jackson.
way.
Yeah, you do. So do I.
And we got a couple Jacksons on the show today, but they're coming up a little bit later. Let's start, guys, with a shocking move by the Warriors. The rich got richer in Golden State. DeMarcus Cousins agreed to a one-year deal for just over $5 million with the champs. Boogie averaged over 25 points a game with the Pelicans, but he's coming off a ruptured Achilles that could force him to miss the start of the season. Now, Cousins is a four-time All-Star, but he told the Undefeated that he did not get any other offers and, quote, made the smartest move ever. The Warriors now have 5 guys that were all All-Stars this year. Wow. All right, Shannon, how shocking was this move?
I think the shocking part to me, Skip, is not him signing with the Warriors, but what led him to sign with the Warriors, and that's receiving no other offers from any other teams. And in the words of my good friend Ha Ha Davis, this is beyond me. I cannot believe
Is
it.
he related to Ha Clinton Dix?
No.
I don't know. All right.
Skip, a guy that's 28 years of age, 6'10", average 25 and 12.
6'11".
6'11".
Yeah.
Fundamentally sound. Go get your 40, 20.
Four-time All-Star.
Four-time All-Star. He was an All-NBA player. Had a couple of games last year, 40, 20.
He did.
Had high triple-doubles, 30-plus points, 20 rebounds, 10 assists. But this is more than the Achilles injury, Skip. I think people are scared away from his enigmatic personality.
Well, that's putting it nicely.
It took Sacramento 5 or 6 different head coaches before they realized, hold on, we fired George Karl, we fired Smart, and we fired Westphal and Brandon Malone.
Yep.
But the one guy that's still here, but they're gone, and we're still having these same problems. Now, of all the teams that should have been equipped to handle Boogie Cousins and to know what he's about, the Pelicans, they had him. But it seems they got better once he got injured.
You could make that case.
So
They added Mirotic, obviously.
they averaged
to Anthony
Mirotic, and they
Davis.
kind of played the same position.
Yeah.
Now, I'm interested to see how this works because Boogie Cousins is always very, very high. You like those second-level stats? Usage rate. His usage rate is through the roof.
Well, it was 4th highest in the NBA, but it always is. Every year it is.
Yeah.
That will have to change.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But he's never been on a team like this where the ball is like hot potato.
It is.
It goes from here to there, into the basket.
You know where it always starts going first? It goes to the post first.
Yeah.
But the post does not hold it. He passes it quickly.
Yeah, so in other words, he's not going to be able to back down, back
No,
down, back
they
down,
don't
back
do
down.
that. No.
That's what's shocking to me, Skip, because I think they almost forced his hand. Well, if nobody else has offered, hell, he would have signed with the big 3. If nobody offered and Cube had $5 million for it, he'd have signed there.
Yep.
So given the circumstances, no other team that's hard for me to believe, Skip, that no other team even made an offer. It's being reported that, and he said it, he picked up the phone and called Bob Myers, who's the general manager of the Warriors. That's what's so surprising, Skip. Not that he signed, because he almost had to sign there because nobody else wanted him. He's on a one-year prove-it deal. Is he healthy? Achilles, Skip, that's a big guy. You know, normally big guys in Achilles, there's a slow process, and Boogie's going to have to change that personality. Now, Boogie's cost himself over $200 million because he could have got that $200 million in Sacramento. He could have got 170 plus in New Orleans. Now, Boogie should be making $40+ million a year.
He should.
but he's making $5 million. Now, if that's not a wake-up call, Skip, he really sleeping on the job.
But before I launch into my argument counter to what you just said, my biggest picture takeaway here is, speaking of LeBron James, which we haven't yet, it now looks like LeBron is going to get swept by Golden State in the first round next year. That's how it's starting to shape up to me.
Hold up. You think, hold on.
The first round. Did you hear me? The first round.
So you think LeBron James is going to be an 8 seed?
I think he's going to be the 8 seed to the 1 seed. That's what I think. That's the way it all shapes up right now because it looks
What
like
you got in your cup?
it looks like the Lakers and LeBron are waiting till next year. That's how it shapes up. That's the way the tea leaves are starting to read to
LeBron
me.
wait for no man.
Well, he might. He might just be taking a mental year off.
No,
He can just
we don't
take
do
it
that.
easy.
We don't do that.
Well, you better not because this is the 16th year going on the 17th year. At some point, Father Time's going to say, LeBron, even you, I got to tap you on the shoulder.
Oh, I love how
Yep.
Father Time is going to tap LeBron on the shoulder, but it's just going to let Tom Brady just
Always
in the
bring up
fast
Tom
lane.
Brady. Tom Brady plays a position that will allow him to play until he's 45. You know it, and I know it.
But even that as the case, so Father Time is not going to tap him on the shoulder until he's 45?
That's what I say. You keep amending years. You keep adding
No, I
one
said
year
2 years.
after,
No,
after
2
Tom
years.
Brady won the MVP
2
at
years.
age 40.
He shouldn't have won it, but that's not the end of
How
that.
did we get on Tom Brady?
Yeah, you brought
I
it
thought
up.
This is about DeMarcus Cousins.
No, but talk about Boogie.
And now let's talk also about LeBron's team. I got a big question.
What?
Did Magic Johnson and Rob Pelinka get so blinded by signing the biggest prize on the free agent market, LeBron James, that they overlooked the opportunity to add DeMarcus Cousins for $5.3 million? I got to ask that because as of Sunday night, there was a whole lot of buzz. I did a Facebook Live, and I immediately brought up DeMarcus Cousins because I thought, well, he's just sitting out there, and I had no idea he had no offers at that point.
Does Boogie have an agent? Because maybe his agent floated the idea that he wanted 15, 20, $25
I'm
million.
sure initially he did.
Okay,
And
then.
initially you would agree he would be worth that, right?
Well, Rob Pelinka and Magic Johnson not even picking up the phone to call you if you want that.
Should they have been wise enough to be just scouring the countryside saying, wait a second, or why didn't DeMarcus and company and an agent call Magic Johnson before they called Bob Myers? That's what I want to know.
Well,
because that seems like a pretty good fit to me.
Well, it did. It seems like a great fit. But, Skip, when you look at it, if Boogie says, if I'm going to have to play for the mid-level, I'm going to play for a mid-level with a team that I know is going to probably end up in the NBA Finals.
I am with you because all of a sudden, Golden State needed a center because they had just lost JaVale to the Lakers.
I don't really know if they lost him.
Okay.
It's kind of like they said him out.
Okay. Well, they just let him go to the
Exactly.
Lakers. Obviously, they did not rush to re-sign him.
Correct.
And the Lakers signed JaVale McGee for a grand total of $2.4 million, which is not going to hurt the cap going forward, and it's just for 1 year, right? So, okay. So they just said, we need a big guy. Let's get JaVale McGee.
Correct.
Would you prefer to have DeMarcus Cousins for $5.3 million over $2.4 for JaVale? I think.
Well, Skip, here's the thing. At least I know what I'm getting with JaVale McGee.
Yeah.
With Boogie Cousins, I don't know what I'm going to get because he does have he had a ruptured Achilles.
He did.
How is he now? Basketball players, Skip, how do they come back after this injury, especially
Interesting
big guys?
you brought that up. I was just scouring the countryside this morning for studies on this, and I saw a 2013 study on Achilles injuries in basketball. It's the worst injury you can suffer in basketball.
Right.
In football, it's probably a spinal injury, right? Your
Correct.
brother injured
Yeah,
your
neck
brother's
injury, yes,
career.
yes.
Or we talked about Cam Chancellor yesterday. But 2013 study, they had 18 cases of pro basketball players with Achilles ruptures, not just, I'm talking about ruptures. 7 of them never played another dribble in the NBA. That's how bad this can be. So think of Chauncey Billups was never the same.
No.
Virtually ended his career. Kobe Bryant came back, but it's never quite the same. He had
he
no
didn't have
lift
that lift,
anymore.
that explosiveness,
There's no
no.
lift anymore. There are some exceptions to the rule. I thought Dominique bounced back and looked like Dominique to me. And then our guy in San Antonio, Rudy Gay, came back last year, and they really had to parse out his minutes over the year. But he looked like Rudy Gay, and they re-signed him now back for next year.
Okay.
So there are some exceptions to the rule. But to your point, 6'11" with a rupture, I don't know. He says he's fine. He's been posting his workout videos, and he's running on the treadmill, and he's doing all these things where he says he'll be ready for camp. History would tell you he will not be ready for camp.
Right.
Will he be ready for January? Maybe, but obviously, what a great fit because, again, I'm not going to give Golden State 1 ounce of credit for masterminding the steal of the century. He called them.
You, right.
Okay. Kevin Durant, by the way, called Golden State, right? So you didn't mastermind Kevin Durant. He came, he knocked on your door.
Correct.
DeMarcus knocked on your door.
Right.
Because you're a really good team with a great system and a great sort of locker room chemistry and philosophy, right? Share the ball, everybody gets
Very
theirs.
unselfish, correct.
Right? Okay. So here's DeMarcus, and what a great shrewd move on his part to call Bob Myers because he needs a ring, number one, because he's 8 years into the league. Don't you? It's like Kevin Durant was 10 years into the league. He said, I need a ring. I don't need Russell Westbrook. I need a ring.
Correct.
And he got 2 of them, and he got 2 Finals MVPs, and nobody's ever going to remember that he left Oklahoma City high and dry. So here's DeMarcus, and he's bounced around a little bit. And again, he's got a terrible reputation for being a tech-prone, divisive, volatile force in a locker room.
Correct.
Right? Okay? So he needed validation of, I need to go someplace and win a ring. So I'll take only $5.3 million.
And be a good teammate in the
That's
process
what I'm saying,
of winning
but
a
now
ring.
he has a chance. He has the greatest opportunity he could have in his whole career to prove, number one, that he's healthy, but number two, and more important, he can fit into this system. And I think he can. I'm a fan of his. I told you before.
I like Boogie also, Skip. You know, my grandfather used to tell my brother and I, he said, boys, if you fight to get something, you'll fight even harder to keep it. My money, my family, my reputation.
Your grandfather was brilliant.
Wise.
Skip, he was. Skip, even though he didn't really have anything to be. I don't know where all this knowledge came from. So my money, my reputation, my family, Skip, I guard those, I protect those. The Golden State Warriors says, you know what? We fought very hard to get to this mountaintop. We're going to do everything we possibly can to make sure we stay here. Now, there will come a time, Skip, it's going to be hard for me to imagine that Klay Thompson, he loves being part of the Splash Brothers. But it's going to be hard for me to imagine that he sees Steph Curry making $42 million a year and he's making 15 and be happy. Draymond Green seeing Kevin Durant making 35, 38 million, he's making 16 and be happy. So they know this thing is going to come to an end at some point. But in the meantime, as long as we can keep this together, we're going to fight, scratch, and claw. So Boogie Cousins come knocking on our door. Skip, I had no idea. I didn't even want Girl Scout cookies. I had no idea I was on a diet. I'm doing good. But the girls come knocking on my door. What I'm supposed to do? How am I to turn them away, those little faces? Sir,
when was this? Lately?
Yeah, I'm talking about this past Girl Scout season. What am I supposed to say to girls? Sir, would you like...
And you ate the whole box. I know you ate the whole box.
Let me tell the story, Skip. The girls come
It was your birthday week. You said, I deserve
Thin Mints?
it.
What kind do you like? Thin Mints?
Thin Mint, Do-si-dos, I like it.
Oh, yeah.
I was
Drag
like
along.
vanilla, just the plain vanilla.
Straight
But here's the, so you like the shortbread. But anyway, Skip, so what was I...
With the cream in the middle.
Okay,
I don't know.
they knock on my door,
Not
Skip.
anymore.
They say, sir...
Back in the day.
They say, sir, would you like to buy some Girl Scout cookies?
I know.
They're looking at me. What am I supposed to say? I said, well, how many you got? How many you have? I have like 14 boxes. I said, well, give me them things. I bought all 14 boxes.
Oh, so you're comparing
man.
that to DeMarcus Cousins knocking on the door of the Golden State Warriors? Sir, would you take me for 5.3?
Exactly. So what were the Warriors supposed to say?
No.
No. This bucket. 5.3.
No. Yeah.
Because Kevin Durant already just saved us $20+ million in luxury tax by, okay, come on in here, Boogie. So that's what they did, Skip. So the only surprise that I see by this, Skip, and I think you're surprised, that no other team, Skip.
Especially the New Orleans Pelicans did not even make an offer because guess who they jumped on? And I just tweeted about it. I was a little surprised that the Lakers said no to Julius Randle.
Right.
So all of a sudden, he hits the open market as an unrestricted free agent, and I had barely hit send on my tweet, and New Orleans said, boom, we got you.
Right.
Because they're going to pair him up across the front line with Mirotic and obviously Anthony Davis, and what a low-post force is Julius Randle.
Right.
So all of a sudden, Boogie is completely expendable in New Orleans.
Right.
And nobody else is even...
Nobody.
No one. So his market has dried completely up, and he has to crawl to the defending champions who swept LeBron's Cleveland Cavaliers in the finals. So he crawls to them, and they say, thank you, God, we will take DeMarcus Cousins.
How much is it, Skip? Is it the eruption of Achilles? How much is the locker room? Or is it a combination of both?
I think it's a combination of both. And it's also the fear factor of, can he fit in any system? Is he a one-man system?
Right.
especially into this system. I'm going to remind you, though, what is the very best Golden State lineup? It is the so-called death lineup, and they get better when they get smaller, right?
Right.
So if you add Iguodala in with Kevin Durant virtually playing center with Steph and Clay and Draymond, obviously, well, that's it when they're at their best. So how many minutes will DeMarcus actually get next year in Golden State? I don't know. 20?
But here's the thing, Skip. In order for him to show that, okay, I'm Boogie Cousins, he also needs stats.
Okay.
You can't be. People are not going to give you $30 million if you averaging 14 and 8. That's just not going to happen.
Reportedly, he was told right away, there are going to be some nights when you're going to get 5 shots, period, end of story. So your 32% usage rate.
Ooh.
Yeah. I mean, 5 shots. Okay. But guess what he averaged last year for the New Orleans Pelicans prior to January 26th when he ruptured his Achilles? He was averaging 5 assists a game.
Yeah.
That's extraordinary for a big man. 5 assists a game? You don't think that'll work in this offense?
But here's the thing. But in the process, as you mentioned, how many minutes? He's playing 35. He's playing 40 minutes a night. On most nights, he'd be lucky to get 25 minutes. Well,
I'm going to say 20 minutes.
Okay. Well, he's not going to be averaging no 5 assists and no 20 minutes. He's good, but he ain't that good.
Yeah. Okay, but what was Golden State's one glaring weakness, even against Cleveland in the finals? What can they not do last year? What could they not do?
Well, they got out rebounded.
They got crushed on the boards. They swept Cleveland while getting crushed on the boards 186-60. So they lost the boards by 26 rebounds over 4 games. That's horrible.
Yes.
But it didn't matter because they're just a better team than LeBron's team.
Correct.
So in the end, can DeMarcus help them just as a defensive rebounder? He averaged 13 a game last year.
And he's good on the offensive glass.
He can be.
And that's if you think about it, Skip, that's the way teams normally beat them. They punish them on the glass.
Yep.
You got to limit them to 1 shot. So when that ball goes up, you got to make sure you get it, because normally what happens if you don't get it, a long rebound comes out and you're scrambling trying to get the ball. That means you left Steph, you've left Clay, you left KD.
Yep.
So now a 3 is going back up off that missed shot. I'm surprised that Boogie, that 29 other teams, a 6'11" guy that's averaging 25 and 12, and basically being he's basically a 24, a 23 and 11 guy for his career.
But you know what they're all saying? See, those 29 other teams are not good enough to absorb him.
No.
Golden State is so good, so deep, so great, so decorated. They can absorb him because he's going to have to be on his best behavior. It's a 1-year deal.
Right.
He's trying to prove to the world, A, the Achilles, and B, the head or back.
Right.
That I think they'll have him on his best behavior.
I agree. I believe he'll be on his best behavior. And you know what? At the end of the day, if he's not on his best behavior, the Warriors will just walk. 5.3 is nothing to them. They'll walk, hey, Boogie, hey, we wish you well, but we were going in the same direction, but we're going to stop here, let you off, and we're going to continue on the direction that we were going.
One other point, though, to the negative is he's always been a high turnover. He averaged 5 turnovers a game last year for New Orleans. But Golden State, ironically, they're a high turnover team. They try things. They
get real loose with the ball.
Yeah.
And that's how sometimes they're winning games by 20. All of a sudden the team's back in because they've turned the ball over. They've gotten real careless with the basketball. And the next thing you know, a game that you think is going to be a runaway, they're fighting for their lives. The thing is with Boogie, Skip, is that I don't believe he'll have this high turnover rate because I don't believe he'll have the ball in his hand long enough enough to create these kinds of turnovers.
So in the end, how much better will he make them? Maybe a little better, just a little better. I think he's more plus than minus for them.
This is what we agree on, Skip. The Golden State Warriors' success is independent of Boogie Cousins. So it doesn't matter if he's good or not good. The Warriors was going to be the Warriors with or without Boogie Cousins. So I don't think it's great. I mean, oh man, they got Boogie Cousins. But let's be real, Skip. Do we think what? They're going to, so instead of winning 65 games now they're going to win 66, 67. Really? No. Their success is independent of whatever Boogie Cousins give them.
I know, but if they can get him right, get him back in gear by playoff time, and he gets to sit next to Steve Kerr on the bench for all those games, absorbing, learning, figuring it all out. Remember, he played on the Rio Olympic team, so he's been around these players before.
But here's the thing, though. You keep saying if he's right, that's a year. the player is normally right the year after,
no.
not immediately after. A full year passes between the injury and him being himself again. Because you said there were 18 guys that had this rupture, 7 never played again. So the odds are not in Boogie's in favor.
I'd say it's like 50-50 whether you'll ever bounce back.
Well, hell, I don't like those odds if I'm an athlete.
I don't like it. But if he does, and they get LeBron in the first round, like I think they will, then watch.
LeBron's going to have home court.
Boogie's going to have a couple of nights where, no, he's not going to have, is he going to be the first seed?
No, hold on. The first 4 seeds get home court.
Okay. Well, they can't meet in the first round if he's the 4th seed.
Okay.
He's not going to be the 4th seed. So I barely give you the 8th seed. So it's going to be 1 versus 8, and it's going to be JaVale versus Boogie on some nights through some stretches, and Boogie's just going to destroy JaVale.
Put dude that the Lakers will be one of the top 4 seeds in the West.
Put do on it. I already did. Didn't I bet you like 5 cases yet?
Bet some more.
We did it yesterday.
No, you talking about that? You talking crazy? You talking about they're going to be an 8 seed?
You said they were going to be the 2nd seed, and I said I'll bet you 5 cases they will not be the 2nd seed.
No. I said they were Vegas had them as the 2nd favorite to win.
Okay.
We didn't bet on the seed, but you keep talking about they're going to be the 8th seed.
Somebody is revising history
No.
just a day later.
You talk about seeds.
I thought we already had this bet.
Hold on. First of all, didn't LeBron James tell? I thought you learned your lesson last year about the seeds. Didn't he tell you?
My lesson?
Yeah.
I didn't learn any lesson.
Remember last year? What seed was he last year? The 4th seed.
Yeah.
And he told you.
That was in the East.
He told you it don't matter. He said, when I come to your building, it's going to be a problem for you.
Oh, really?
Didn't he tell Toronto that?
Is he going to tell Golden State that in the first round next year?
We got some help now.
Huh?
We got a little help now.
You got no help.
Yeah.
Let's stop wagering the do now because you do that so often. You know he has Girl Scout cookies now.
Oh.
No, they Girl Scout cookies. They've been long gone.
Oh, they're long.
Yeah.
But
No
I
more
don't
Samoas.
eat Girl Scout cookies. So.
Why?
I just don't.
How you girls, they're crying. They need their uniform and get badges.
I'll buy them, but I don't eat them.
We'll send them over to your boy.
Okay.
I eat them.
Oh, all right. The Lakers also made a big move yesterday, but what does it mean for Lonzo Ball?
Ugh.
Running from competition. We'll discuss that coming up next.
No mercy.
A day after the Lakers agreed to a deal with LeBron, they added 4-time All-Star Rajon Rondo. ESPN reports the deal is 1 year for $9 million. Rondo was coming off a great playoff run with the Pelicans, where he averaged about 10 points and 12 assists, but the Lakers still have Lonzo Ball. Yeah, and the LA Times reports that Rondo has been told it will be an open competition for starting point guard job, but Lonzo is reportedly not running from the competition. Shannon, he ain't scared, he says. What's going on here?
Skip, this is an odd move for me.
Yep.
To bring a guy of Rajon Rondo's background. Rajon Rondo was a starting point guard on a championship caliber team. As Holly mentioned in the read, he averaged 8 assists in the regular season. In the playoffs, he bumped that up to 12. This ain't no guy that's coming in to spell somebody. He's coming in, Rajon Rondo strikes me as a guy, he's coming in to be the starting point guard.
I would think so.
And it's getting, with the moves that they're making, it seems less and less likely to me, Skip, that Lonzo Ball is going to finish his career as a Laker.
Was he going to start next year with the Lakers?
I'm starting to believe that it's less likely. It seems to me, now, he was the only point guard on the roster until they signed Rajon Rondo. But you don't sign a guy of Rajon Rondo's merit with the hopes of like, you know what, he's going to spell our guy who's supposed to be our Magic Johnson. Remember, the Lakers traded Norm Nixon.
They did.
They got him. That's Magic Johnson. They traded Norm Nixon because they wanted to clear the decks to make sure, hey, Magic, this you. This also tells me and shows me that Rob Pelinka and Magic Johnson are unconcerned about feelings. They're unconcerned about the chatter that goes on outside of that building. Now, they might not like, how, fire the coach or he's losing the team. They might not like that. But Magic Johnson's making moves, and Rob Pelinka, they're making moves that we're building this team. Now, we're going to have healthy competition. If you real as you say you are, you'll be able to handle this competition, and you'll be able to rise above it. But if you're not, that you can play his dad. We had his dad on here, and he was complaining about Lonzo used to play in the whole games. Well, if he don't beat Rondo out, not only is he not going to be playing the whole games, the minutes that he was playing last year, that's going to be cut somewhere between 5 and 10, Skip.
Yep.
I'm surprised. I don't know how you feel, but I'm surprised by this move.
I still can't figure it quite out. As I immediately tweeted yesterday afternoon when I heard the news, either, number one, Lonzo's about to be traded. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's already almost done, right?
Yes,
and we're about to hear the announcement.
Right.
Or, number two, Lavar Ball is about to be furious because, to your point, the last time we had Lavar right here at this desk on Undisputed, which was June the 12th, once again, he ripped away at Luke Walton for the way he substitutes for his son Lonzo because it comes quickly and sporadically. And I told Lavar, I don't like it either because he'll yank him mid-first quarter almost every night, and then he'll sit him until mid-second quarter. Right. And to Lavar's point, it does tend to break the kid's rhythm. Has he earned those minutes? That's debatable to this point. But let's listen to what Lavar told us on June the 12th.
They got to figure him out. He's trying to figure them out on the fact that going up all through his life, he's always played the whole game. So the in and out, and when he's sitting there, how you can take control of the game, and he know how to win.
Yeah.
But if you keep pulling him down and putting him back in the last 5 or 6 minutes, he's just like, whatever y'all want to do. You got these guys taking the wrong shots at the wrong time.
Because Luke Walton's pattern was he would play him 6 minutes, and then he would sit him for the rest of the first quarter and some of the second quarter, right?
Like I said to Luke, his excuse was the kids were young. But I was thinking to myself, too, also the coaching is young. So you got to take part of that blame.
Oof, the coaching is young. So I got two theories if, in fact, Lonzo is going to remain with the Lakers. Number one, Magic brought in a Rondo who's known for his mental and physical toughness to maybe help teach Lonzo, but more important, to compete with him for minutes.
Absolutely.
And try to light a new fire under Lonzo that needed to be lit more last year.
Right.
Because as I kept telling you morning after morning, I don't know what he's doing. Does he really want to play? He looked like he was disconnected, unplugged, emotionless, like he didn't really care.
But Skip, you followed this game long enough. When was the last time you known they've drafted a player who's supposed to be their guy, and then they bring a player in at that very position and say, compete with this guy for minutes? They didn't do that with Duncan. They didn't do that with Shaq. They didn't do that with any of these other great players. Skip, normally they clear the deck. If there's a player at that position, they move them out. So you get all the focus, you get all the minutes without having to look over your shoulder. This is just the opposite of what they would normally do.
Okay, but again, you know how much I love Lonzo Ball and believe in him for the long term.
Okay.
I didn't love him in the short term last year because it looked like he was uninspired. Was it because of Luke? Was it because he didn't have a veteran point guard to help show him the ropes? Or, it took until the offseason until he sat down with the great Magic Johnson and actually had film study with Magic from game to game to game from last year. And I'm sure one of the big points Magic raised was, hey, you got to play harder.
Yeah.
You got to show a little aggression.
What you doing here?
Yeah. What's this?
Why'd
you go stand over there?
Yeah.
Didn't you want to be involved? Did you want to initiate the action over here? So, again, that's one of my theories. I don't love that theory, but my number two theory involves Lavar Ball. Did he bring in Rondo as just a threat to Lavar to say, basically, with this message, if you criticize my head coach or any of the kids on my team or the players on my team, and that will now include LeBron James, then guess what? I'll play Rondo instead of your son. Like he's going to hold him a little bit more accountable. Like you need to button up a little bit here, button your lip up a little bit and stay between the lines, because if you don't, I'll just go with the other one, because you cannot attack and divide my locker room. No. And that's what he did last year.
Yeah.
Remember, he called out Luke Walton. He said they'd quit on Luke Walton, and that was about a month into the season.
He criticized Julius Randle as well.
Remember that?
And that's so hard for a player to have a parent or a significant other talking about what's the head coach or players on that team. Skip,
because you kept bringing up the point. We all know where it's coming from.
Yes,
it's coming from Lonzo.
Exactly. So you walk in the locker room, guys looking at you side eyes, and then he making rap videos. He's talking about Kuzma. Yeah. Now Magic Johnson has sent the word. I said, hey, bro, y'all need to keep that down. We talking about basketball. This ain't no East Coast, West Coast battle. This ain't no Big N Tupac, what y'all think y'all got going on. So y'all need to squash that foolishness. Skip, this is not. I'm baffled. I'm sure this, as you said, this makes no sense to me. I can't. You want to bring a point guard in? Okay, fine, but not that guy, Skip.
No, I agree. So, do I believe that LeBron James highly respects Lonzo's potential in the way he approaches the game of basketball? IQ, vision, unselfishness. Do I believe that? Yes, I do. But do I believe that in the end, LeBron would like to go forward and battle with Rondo over
absolutely.
Lonzo? You better believe I do, because what does he always say? Give me those who have been there and done that, right?
He want a proven commodity. We know, this is what we know about LeBron James, Skip. All that potential, because guess what? He says, give me Kevin Love, because I've seen Kevin Love do it in the NBA.
Yeah.
Y'all can have Andrew Wiggins. Y'all can have the other guy. I want guys that are battle-tested, been there, done that. Skip, because when rubber met the road, what lineup did they come out with? They came out with the lineup that had been there, tried and true. They went back to Tristan Thompson. They went back to JR. They went back to Kyle Korver. Those guys had been there and been in the battle. So all this other stuff, back and forth potential. Ooh, guys, athletic. Ooh, he shows potential. When the rubber needed to meet the road, LeBron James said, hey, give me those guys. And so that's what they're looking at right now. He might have unbelievable potential down the road, but this is what LeBron James knows. He's going to battle against Rajon Rondo.
Against him. Not with him, but against him, so he got to see it up close and personal.
In one playoff game, he had like 44 points.
Yeah, remember what they call him? Playoff Rondo, which is why his stats jumped up so high. By the way, he can't shoot a lick during the regular season from three, and in the playoffs last year, he made 8 of 19 threes for 42%, because that's playoff Rondo. That's the guy LeBron wants in his foxhole going into the playoffs.
Remember, he dislocated his elbow in the game, Skip?
I do.
And he stayed in the game. They popped it back.
He's tough, man. He's tough.
Tougher than wet leather. So Braun want to go to work with something, go to battle with something.
But he's also 6 feet 1 inches tall, and Lonzo Ball is 6 feet 7 inches tall, and almost led this team in rebounding.
But he played like he's 7 foot tall. Rajon Rondo a battle.
Well, he will. No, I give you that. It's, again, to your point, in the end, it makes no sense unless Lonzo is about to be an ex-Laker. That's all I can figure out.
No mercy.
Next up, we're talking about LeBron. He's come to LA after agreeing to a 4-year deal, but let's go next level with this. Black Sports Online is reporting that LeBron is, quote, in it for the long haul in LA, but he could retire if he wins a championship with the Lakers. Shannon, okay, this is more whispers than a real report right here, but could you see this happening?
Skip. So let's just say, let's do hypothetical, since we that seemed to be the theme this morning. Skip, if he wins a title in year 1, we think LeBron James is retiring? Of course not. If he wins a title in year 4, well, Skip, that's going to be 20 years. Well, then that's an extreme possibility.
Okay.
But we heard less than a month ago, LeBron James said at the podium, and they were asking him what is his crowning achievement? What would he most proud what would be his most proudest accomplishment?
Right.
He said, playing on the same court with my son. Now, unless Bronny turns 18, 19 in the next year, LeBron James isn't going anywhere, because in the back of his mind, he wants a Griffey Sr. and Griffey Jr. moment, being on the court with his son. Now, we don't know if that's going to happen, but Skip, it's hard for me to believe that LeBron James would win a title in year 1 and leave. Now, you win year 4, Skip, that's 20 years. Okay, yeah, that's an extreme possibility. But to make it seem like, well, you know, if he gonna hit y'all with the deuces if he were to win a title, no. LeBron James, he's still playing at extreme high level.
He is.
Very few guys, Skip, play at this level, win a title and walk away. Now, even some in the greats in football, Peyton Manning walked away, but Peyton wasn't the same Peyton Manning he was 2 years before, Skip. John Elway walked away. John didn't want to put the time in that it was going to take for him to maintain that greatness. We see it even fewer in basketball. They normally squeeze every drop of juice out of that orange before they walk away. So I don't see LeBron James winning a title in, say, the next 1 to 2 years. 4 years from now, he wins a title, all bets are off. But I believe still he wants to happen, what happened with Ken Griffey Sr. and Jr., be on the basketball court with Bronny.
Okay. I am with you on that, but just to add some perspective to this, the most shocking moment I have had on Undisputed so far was during these last playoffs when Jason Terry sat right here He's not a Milwaukee Buck at the moment, but I think he's going to play one more year for the Bucks. He played for him, obviously, last year. And he predicted, do you remember this?
Yeah.
LeBron was going to retire.
Just retire.
This year after the end of the playoffs. After he got swept, the prediction was that's it for LeBron James. I don't think Jason Terry just pulled that out of the blue. I think he had heard some locker room rumblings around the league from city to city. Oh, that LeBron has dropped some hints to some of his closer friends that, you know what, he's just worn out from all this. His body's starting to wear out and that this is going to be the end of it. Did I believe that? And you? No, we did not. Could I see him playing 4 more years, maybe 5? I could. But what always gets me, and this is why I have the highest regard for his durability, and it's his greatest ability.
Yes.
He takes a lot of punishment because he does drive the basketball. I always call him, he's the greatest driver of the basketball I've ever seen. He's the most unstoppable force outside of Shaquille O'Neal, but I'm talking about as a, what do we call him, a small forward or whatever he is.
He's a 3, yes.
Yeah, as opposed to any big man center 5, number 5 player.
Right.
He's the greatest driver of the basketball I've ever seen, but he gets hammered. He takes a lot of running back style hits.
Absolutely.
And over time, over all those minutes, in all those years, 15 years, it just adds up, the cumulative
Not
hits.
just 15, Skip. 8 of the last 15, he's played in the June.
All the way.
And then in some of those, Skip, he was going to the Olympics.
He was.
So not only is he playing in June, he's practicing in July and again, playing again in August.
Yeah.
And rebooted again September, getting ready to tip it off in October.
So I told you by the end of the year, I said, I've never seen a player of this age and stage of his career play this great on offense, because that was sensational.
Yes.
He took it up a level on the offensive end.
Correct.
At the expense of his defense, and I don't want to beat this to death. But again, he just had to pick his spots on defense, and a lot of nights he picked no spots on defense because he just didn't have enough stamina to focus all on offense and play some defense. He just couldn't do it anymore.
Right.
And the Lakers are going to have to be careful with that because there are some nights he can be a liability where he plays one-man zone on defense and just stands under the basket, and his man roams free at the three-point line. And if he gets a hot hand, see Boston series, you're in some trouble because Jaylen Brown's going to just stand out there and just riddle you with threes if you don't get out in his face, and he's not going to get a hand in his face. So the point is, going forward, how much more beating can he take? And that's why it smacks to me of next year like he committed to LA with no assurances, no guarantees of any superstar or even star help, right?
Yeah.
At this moment, we don't know what he's got.
As you get older, what do you do? What do normally older people do when they retire? Where they go? They don't retire to Minnesota. They don't retire to. Yeah, okay, then. They go to Florida, they go to California.
They do.
So as LeBron is aging, what is he going? Sunshine.
So can we call this semi-retirement?
No.
Semi?
He ain't semi nothing.
Well, that's what you just suggested.
No.
Yeah.
In the waning years, Skip, he just, instead of just, all of a sudden just packing up like Jed Clampett, just all of a sudden moved to Beverly Hills, he just gradually did it. Now, there's no guarantee that LA is his last stop.
Yep.
We on a mission. We trying to accumulate championships.
We are on a
We are.
We are. Yeah, we're a package deal.
Okay. And now he's come with you to Los
Yeah.
Angeles. Right? Now you're neighbors.
I'm looking to move.
Yeah. Are you?
Yeah, I've been.
I hope not.
I'm getting.
Very scared,
I've been in the Harmony Hills. I need to get closer to Brentwood.
Oh, you want to get closer, but you don't want to move out of LA.
No. I'm not moving out of LA.
You're suggesting this is not LeBron's last stop.
No. I will be. We will be moving from a distance. We gonna have a long distance relationship. Because if he move on, I'm staying.
Oh, you? I
Yeah,
hope so.
yeah, I'm staying.
Unless you're going to do it remote from New York.
Yeah, no. We might do a remote. We're gonna do a couple of remotes from Staples.
Well, are you suggesting it's from Staples?
Yeah, I'm gonna do a couple of remotes
should.
that at the game.
Stay up all night and do it from Staples.
Yeah.
That's fine. The only stage he has not graced with his presence so far is Madison Square Garden. Are you suggesting that could be his final stop?
Well, considering that he went back and played for Dan Gilbert, it should be no problem for him playing for James Dolan.
Although now they're saying James Dolan looks like he could be on the way out. So could that clear the deck?
Hold up, he selling? He ain't selling that team.
There have been suggestions that
He
seems to be.
That's his baby. That's his identity.
I don't know.
He ain't selling that team.
Well, whatever. So are you suggesting that's a possibility for the end of
I
his
just
career?
think the thing is, look, LeBron, he said that Cleveland was going to be his last stop. everybody's like, there's no way he can leave again. He can't go to Miami and then come back and then leave again. LeBron said, watch me.
Yep.
When I don't feel you fulfilling your obligation, surrounding me with the necessary tools I need to dig, to keep climbing this mountain, to get the titles, I'm going to bounce. Now, this is one thing we know about Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson's a winner. He won at basketball. He won at business.
He did.
He winning at life because nobody expected with that diagnosis
correct.
he got in
I agree.
91 him to be here in 2018.
I am with you.
So Magic Johnson is going to put the necessary pieces right because he knows what it takes in order for you to win a title. So, but I don't foresee me and
But
Bron.
the problem with Magic Johnson running the Lakers is he can't run the offense. He can't actually play, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so in the end, I'm going to say it one more time. Bottom line for LeBron James at this stage of his career, the only way he's going to win another championship in Los Angeles is if next year Kevin Durant says, okay, I've won enough at Golden State, I'm going to Staples. That's the only way. I don't see it any other way.
Why?
Because then you would weaken Golden State. You could tear them completely apart.
KD might just weaken him just by walking away and going someplace else.
Okay,
He might
that's
turn
what I'm
around and go
saying.
back to OKC.
Well, he might, but again, remember, Kevin Durant signed a 1-and-1, so he's only back at Golden State for effectively one more year, and then he has an option for the next one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so again, people close to Kevin continue to tell me that he's still seriously considering. He's going to keep an eye on Los Angeles and see how it plays out, see what they begin to put around LeBron, and see if he could be the missing link there, just the way he was in Golden State, to put them over the top.
Kevin Durant is the missing link anywhere.
Well,
it doesn't matter, L.A.
I'm with you.
L.A., Sacramento. I mean, when he's the second best player, Skip. He's 7 foot tall. He can handle the ball. He can shoot the three. He's a great free throw. Hey, he's fundamentally sound.
I think you just described the best player.
No, stop. See,
I think
Skip,
you just did.
You see what I'm saying, Holly? Holly, this is where Skip and I part ways. I try to be courteous normally, and I'm receptive to his courtesy. But then he goes out on a limb. He just starts saying stuff that just makes no sense. You know Kevin Durant is not the best player in the world. You know this. You just want to get my blood pressure. I ain't going to do it.
By the way,
I'm not
Shannon
going to do it.
Sharpe, courteous, that's like an oxymoron. to
Nope.
me. That doesn't
I'm not going to
work.
let Skip get my blood pressure up there tomorrow. I took my 5
Are
milligrams.
you eating? You're intaking more sugar? Why do you do this to yourself?
See,
I thought you were getting in shape.
Let me tell you what I do. Let me tell you. Every morning, before I go to work, come to work, I take 10 milligrams or don't mess with me. That's the only way I can deal with Skip. I can, Skip, because, man.
Is that black market? Don't mess with me?
No.
Where do you get that?
Because Skip.
Dave's Pharmacy.
Skip's.
Would you test positive for that, right?
No, I ain't gonna test positive for
Yeah,
that.
I think you might.
I'm gonna test positive for some chicken wings. I'm gonna test positive for chicken wings and some waffles.
You know that don't mess with me. You know you have to inject that. So
No. Ain't no. Skip your phone.
Hey,
Yep.
speaking of that, Cam Newton is trying to get a little piece of
my
that
goodness.
and released a pretty shocking new video. It's not G-rated or PG or PG-13 even, maybe even R. We'll discuss that coming up next.
No mercy.
All right, let's get to the NFL for a minute. Cam Newton is staying motivated this offseason. You can call it something like that, I guess, motivated. And he posted a profanity-laced message on Instagram trying to motivate everyone else. See if this gets you pumped up.
I want to get something straight. Like when I'm showing you these clips, like what I'm doing, I'm not doing it just to show face. I'm showing this to get your ass up off your ass and do some. You feel me? That makes sense.
Okay, all right. You feel him? I mean, what is going on here? Is this a bad look for him?
It's not a good look, Skip, because I believe Cam could have been just as impactful in his message without using the profanity.
Sure.
He could have said, guys, when I post these things, this is not only for me, this is also for you, to get you motivated, to get you up off your couch, to help you become the best you that you can become. Cam Newton has a son, and in, say, 15 years from now, he's going to have a favorite athlete. Would he want his son listening to his favorite athlete say something like that? That's the question, because if you're comfortable with that, okay then. You're going to be comfortable with Cam Newton. I just think the thing is that, and people are like, well, he posted that on, but it's for public consumption because he's on social media, he's trying to build his brand. This is a part of who Cam Newton is. Like, look, public, consume this. Be careful what you put out there, that's all I'm saying. I just believe he could have been just as effective, just as impactful without the profanity. That's it.
So, just to be fair, just for perspective, I'm going to point out before I give you my opinion on what Cam posted, and I'm going to remind everybody that in Tom versus Time featuring Tom Brady, he dropped an MF. Remember? He did it in the competitive vein of he was trying to argue in favor of pliability and how he's beating the system to be able to stay healthy and strong at 40 going on 41.
Right.
And he said, I can still, and he was doing it, you know, competitive juices flowing, and he said, I can still fire that.
ML.
Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what will his kids say about that? I don't know. That's the same question.
They were like, Daddy, why? I'm sure they will ask, Dad, why are you saying that? And I'm sure Tom would not like his kids to consume something where those words would be being spoken.
And if those words were spoken by his kids in his home, I don't think Tom would like it, and I don't think Giselle would like it at all.
Absolutely not.
Okay. Does Tom Brady use those words in the heat of battle? I'm pretty sure he does. In the locker room, I'm pretty sure he does. Is this the real Cam? Was he just trying to get realer? You know, was he trying to show you, hey, the gloves are off now? Remember, there was a turning point incident for him when he had an exchange with a female reporter last year, and he lost his Dannon commercial over it. Remember, I don't want to go into the gory details of it.
He got picked it up.
Yeah, my Dak jumped all over it.
Along with 14 other ones.
Got 14 commercials. A little disturbing to me. I'd like to see him concentrate a little more on playing quarterback before he takes on more commercials. But the point is, it felt like there was some shift in Cam at that point. Was he trying to say yesterday that I'm just going to show you how I really am. I'm going to show you raw, real Cam Newton. Do I believe Cam can use that kind of? Sure, I do. Is that real, or was he exaggerating it for effect? Sometimes there are players who want to create more image edge because it will bring on new endorsements from other different kinds of endorsees, right?
But Skip, my thing is that when I look at Tom is doing a docuseries, and he's chronicling what it's like to get ready for the season, what he goes through in the off season. If Tom would have just posted this as a motivational tool and says, I can still throw this mofo, then that's different. Cam posted this to try to get impact that says, okay, I'm trying to motivate you using this profanity-filled tirade. Well, I don't know if tirade is the word, but using this profanity-filled motivational speech. I think that's different. For me, it's different. Now, I'm not excusing what Tom said, but I'm just saying that Cam just posted, this was it. Nothing else. Not how he gets ready and all this other stuff, what he eats, and just, I'm trying to get you up off the couch. I ain't doing this bleep for me.
Yep.
I just believe Cam could have gotten his message across. And there's sometimes, profanities, but when you're addressing kids, and that's going to be the main people that's going to consume this message, you need to be careful of how you're speaking. That's it.
I got it. So, is the quarterback position in the National Football League under more obligation to be face of franchise, to care more about public consumption image, right?
Yeah.
So let's do Russell Wilson. Is he capable of posting something like that? I pretty much doubt it. I can go right down the line, black and white quarterbacks. Probably not, probably not, right? So if Jerry Richardson's still on this team, would he be pretty offended by this? Would he be maybe angry about this? He probably would, because remember, he was holding Cam's feet to the fire before he drafted him.
No tattoos, no earrings.
Right. Jerry Richardson, of course, went down in sexual harassment flames, so he's no longer about to be the owner.
But he did have to pay a fine, Skip.
He paid a fine.
$2.7 million after he made $2.2 million. But that's neither here nor there. So how do you feel about this? Do you believe Cam could have got his message across without using this?
I definitely do. And again, I'm a fan of Cam Newton.
Oh, I like it.
And when I first saw this very early this morning here in Los Angeles, I was stunned by it because I'd never seen that from Cam. And he looked a little off to me and like, what are you doing?
Right.
He looked a little crazed to me. Was he just about to really go hard in the work? I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
Or he just finished the workout.
Maybe
and he's feeling good. And he was feeling good.
Maybe it was. It could be because his hair was flying.
Yeah.
And maybe that's it. But in the end, I do believe, especially in this league, that position does carry some responsibility. Now, we can go back, just not to be hypocrites here. There were in the good old days or the bad old days, there were lots of Joe Namaths and Jim McMahons and Kenny Stablers, and they were highly capable of doing this, but there wasn't any social media, right?
Yeah. Worse, well, not only were they post, they were drinking. Because, like I said, Skip, even when I got in the league in the 90s, and it's not looked upon, guys were smoking outside the locker room during halftime.
I got it.
I mean, so that was, but
we never saw it.
We never saw it. But this social media, Skip. But here's the thing. Now, if he was talking like that and somebody recorded him, that's one thing. He recorded himself and put that out.
He did.
Right.
That's the difference.
Okay, so is a Johnny Manziel capable of this? Yeah. Baker Mayfield, when his competitive juices are flowing? Yeah, I would think so. But Cam Newton is an MVP in this league.
Yeah.
Has he struggled over the last 2 years? I hate to point out the fact that his completion percentage is the lowest over the last 2 years of any quarterback, and his passer rating is the lowest over the last 2 years of any starting quarterback. So he has declined from that
MVP season.
It was an all-time great season, and you know, it started to unravel maybe even after the Super Bowl loss to your Broncos, when a lot of people, I was not one of them, condemned him for the way he handled or didn't handle the post-game interview, right? Okay, and then the incident happened with the female reporter, and it feels like he's saying, okay, I'm going to give you the real guy. Like, heck with you, and I'm using a nice word. I'm just going to show you what I really am, and you can take it or leave it. That's what I'm sensing from Cam Newton right now.
Well, Skip, here's the thing. Look, everybody that's an endorser or endorsee, that's not 100% who they actually are.
Yep.
Maybe some of that. And maybe some of this is who Cam is. Maybe Cam is a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But I think in the process of maybe losing some of his sponsorships, Skip, he's like, I don't have to be as buttoned up. So now I can let a little more of Cam Newton really show. Look, is Cam motivational? Teammates love him, Skip. And, you know, to get to where he got to from where he came from. But for me, I always try to be mindful of how I talk, especially in front of kids, because they're going to repeat what I say. Now, when I was growing up, my grandfather cursed. Man, you think I would ever repeat what I heard him say? I wouldn't be here to tell the story, Skip.
But he was also brilliant.
Yeah,
right?
but I didn't.
Now you're hurting my image of him.
But Skip, I didn't. Here's the thing, though, Skip. I didn't think that at the time, and I don't think any of his kids or grandkids thought that at the time.
Okay.
They just know he didn't play the drums, so he wasn't playing with kids. He expected you to be a certain way. When he said, "When I come home, I needed to be like this," Skip. We didn't ask why. We hit the flow. So that's the way it was. So I'm just saying, Cam, just be mindful, because you know the reach that you have. You're an NFL star, you're a celebrity, you have a reach that you would not have had you not been who you are now. Just be mindful of the people that's listening, that's watching what you say and what you do.
Do you think that video comes down later today? You think he'll take it down? Maybe?
Maybe.
Would he apologize for the video?
No.
That's not in his DNA. It doesn't seem like to me.
Well, if he's not going to apologize, he's not going to take it down.
Yep.
Right.
So that's
exactly right.
That's the thing.
Okay, final tough question for you, Hall of Famer. Is a black starting quarterback in the National Football League held more
Absolutely,
accountable?
1,000%,
Okay.
1,000%. That's always been the case. That's always going to be the case. Not just of an athlete, just for an African American. We know we're held to different standards. We see sentencing for the same crime that a white person commits. The black is more likely to get more time, more harsh, more severe punishment. So that's just not for athletes, Skip. That's always been the case. That's always going to be the case. So that's why I'm always trying to be on my best behavior. Because my grandma said, boy, you got to walk twice as far just to get, you got to twice as far to get half.
Yep.
So we understand that. Cam understands that. If he didn't understand, he saw what he was going through when he was at Auburn. We saw what he had to go through, some of the things that he's gone through since he's been in the NFL. So he knows that. He knows he's held to a different standard.
Yep.
Interesting. All right. Hey, Cam, just drink a Red Bull, and just get pumped.
No,
up
don't
that
drink no
way.
Red Bull.
No,
Did you just see him on that video?
I'm
Don't
saying
drink
just
no
do
Red
that
Bull.
and just do your thing. Leave the video camera alone. All right, are the Warriors now unbeatable with Boogie Cousins? We'll discuss that coming up next with Jimmy Jackson. He's in studio.
No mercy.
Friday night on Fox, Big Three basketball hits the Bay Area. Our friend Jim Jackson will be on the call for the Big Three, live from Oakland, Friday night at 8 Eastern on Fox, or stream it live on the Fox Sports app. Jim just walked in our studio. You'll see him in just a second. All right, let's get back to the shocking news out of Golden State. DeMarcus Cousins agreed to a one-year deal for just over $5 million with the Champs. Boogie averaged over 25 points a game with the Pelicans, but he's coming off a ruptured Achilles that could force him to miss the start of the season. Cousins is a four-time All-Star, but told the Undefeated that he did not get any other offers and, quote, made the smartest move ever. The Warriors now have 5 guys that were All-Stars this year. All right, Jim Jackson, our FS1 NBA analyst. Number one, how are you?
I'm good.
Good.
Getting some golf insider tips for you.
Yeah.
Need to win my pool again. Need all the tips I can get.
That's what we do during the breaks. But how shocking was this news?
It was shocking to me, not because he didn't get offers, but that he picked up the phone and called. The realization that, now I'm not where I'm at. But I think it's a good lesson for young players to understand this, is that, one, your reputation precedes you. And if an injury happens, it can come back to affect you. I think for so long, DeMarcus was going to do what he wanted to do. In Sacramento early on, I thought management just allowed DeMarcus to dictate everything. So his attitude carried with him. But when you're hurt, you're young, you figure, listen, I'm fine. I'm putting up numbers. I can do what I want to do. I do think that when he got to New Orleans, I thought we saw a different side of DeMarcus. Attitude-wise, we didn't hear as much. But then the injury comes, and a lot of teams that are out there now are looking like, okay, we know what he was in the past. He's coming off an injury. He's a big man. We're not going to commit to a long-term deal,
Right,
which he wanted. So DeMarcus had to do the smart thing and say, listen, I need to play. I need to get hooked up. And I think it says a lot for him to be able to pick up the phone, no matter I don't care who it was, to pick up the phone for DeMarcus, an all-star, 25, 10, and whatever, and say, listen, I'm interested in coming. So
I'll play for the mid-level.
I'll play for the mid-level.
He threw that out there.
Yeah. Well, going in there, he knew with his agent what they had available on the cap. He already knew what could be accepted, what he could get.
The mere fact that he picked up the phone, Skip, lets you know he already had his tail tucked between his legs.
Okay, but he didn't call Sacramento. He called the defending champions, right?
We had a relationship, too, with Draymond and those guys.
If I'm going to play for the mid-level, it's kind of like New England, Skip. You see guys are willing to take less to go there because what do they know? Now, I'm probably not going to have the numbers that I had where I came from, but I know every game's going to matter. I'm going to be playing in January, and there's a really, really good chance that I'm going to be playing in the Super Bowl. So guys are willing to accept that. They're willing to accept less money. Sometimes the pride. Brian Urlacher, you remember Brian Urlacher retired. Chicago offered him $2 million. There are some other teams that offered him the same thing. He said, I'll play for them for $2 million, but I won't play for you for $2 million. Boogie Cousins like, hold on, there's 30 teams. Now, I'm playing for Sacramento. That's not in the cards. New Orleans told me they don't want me. So there's really only 28 other teams, and nobody called. Nobody called. Skip, think about that. You got to pick up the – well, hey, I know the feeling, Boogie. Because guess how I got over here at Fox?
Right.
Hell, I don't come out here on my dime. y'all laughing. Skip Bayless, you know this to be true. I picked up the phone. I'm flying out here, meeting with everybody, staying in the hotel right down the street.
Time out. I picked up the phone.
Well,
I picked up the phone.
well, I
called you.
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
But I was like,
But you didn't get the call from Fox.
No, well, Skip was behind.
kind of
See,
Fox
I
a little bit,
I
though.
didn't know. I thought I was coming out here on my own, unbeknownst to me, that Skip Bayless was what's the puppet? What's his name? Geppetto.
Oh, Geppetto.
I didn't know Geppetto was behind the scenes. I thought, I was like coming out here, old Skip, old Skip behind the scenes. I didn't know he liked me so much. Oh,
Yeah.
Skip like O'Shea Sharpe. I said, yeah.
But he did take the mid-level exception.
I did He got those Steph.
He got the boat.
Right now,
Skip got the boat.
right now I'm Clay. He old Steph. He's Steph Curry.
He's Steph. Yeah. Your deal coming up, though. You're a free agent.
Next question. So, once again, I'm giving Golden State zero credit for this because all they did was accept the phone call.
They could have said no.
All they did was answer the door when Kevin Durant knocked on it, and now this guy's knocked on it. Now a four-time All-Star has knocked on it, and this is what happens when you're turning into a dynasty. To your New England point, this is what happens.
Yeah.
These are the spoils of victory because when you sweep LeBron James out of the playoffs, all of a sudden DeMarcus is saying, wait a second. And it was a shrewd move by DeMarcus, and it showed me a lot because he had to eat a whole bunch of humble pie. He had to swallow it, man. And he had to say, okay, $5.3 million, but what a great opportunity to reprove that A, you're healthy, and B, that you can assimilate into this culture and show that you can perform at a high level in this system by playing unselfishly, playing without the ball occasionally, playing some defense, blocking some shots, and rebounding. You can do some dirty work, which will reprove you until you hit the market 1 year from today, and you might just hit the lottery. If he can bounce back, and again, it's about a 50-50 proposition you can bounce back. I can't remember. Did you have Achilles? You didn't have
I tore my ankle up.
your ankle. I knew it was
Bad
something.
enough.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, though. Think about it. And I think you bring up a good point. A one-year deal, an opportunity.
Yeah.
One, he goes to a team at Golden State without the pressure of having to come back and rush his recovery. Second, you pretty much know this is a one-year deal because Draymond is up, Clay is up, and also KD is up. So you figure they're going to keep their core together. So I think your point is valid where Boogie can go in there, get completely healthy, understand the culture of winning, a la like LeBron did when he went to Miami.
Yep.
Reinvent himself, okay, and put himself back on the market. Now, if they get to a championship, he can put that under his belt, of course.
Right.
But now you come out of this as a totally different person if you play your card right going into free agency in 2019.
But let me ask you this. Had he picked up the phone, called them, knock on the door, and Golden State says no, does anybody hold that against him? Because you have to understand now, when Kevin Durant knocked on the door, he had no baggage. He had no injury. He had no problems as being a locker room cancer.
No.
Boogie has a ruptured Achilles at 6'11".
And baggage.
And he has baggage. So if Golden State says, no, thanks for the call, but we're not interested, is anybody upset? No.
What to say about the culture of Golden State? I think the trust they have primarily in Draymond Green.
Right.
Who's a friend of Boogie Cousins. Okay, you know that phone got picked up and they called Draymond and said, what do you think about this? And other players.
Right.
Once Steph signed off, once Draymond signed off and said, listen, we got him once he gets here.
Right.
Again, it goes back to the culture. It's kind of like San Antonio, New England.
Yeah.
We get him in here, I think we'll be just fine because he'll conform because we played with him in USA basketball.
Right.
It's almost like, now again, Carmelo was a little bit different because he wasn't playing.
Yeah.
But when Carmelo, guys looked at Carmelo a lot differently within the confines of USA basketball than they did as an individual with New York or with Denver. So time will tell. But Boogie, to pick up the phone and make that call, again, as an athlete, and you know too, with an ego perspective, I didn't put up big numbers last year. You should be calling me.
That's a big pill to get
That's
down.
a big pill.
I mean, that ego and that pride pill, man, you got to drink a lot of water to get those down.
But you have to deal with this too, though. Think about this. It's not just now.
Yeah.
Throughout the course of the year, even though when he starts to play, you sold out. Nobody wanted to get you. So now you go over here and play with the super team. So he has to deal with that as well. It's, it's going all the way through the year.
Right. So it's going to. But here's the thing. At the end of the day, in order for Boogie to get what he feels he's going to be fairly compensated, he's going to have to put up numbers. How does he get those numbers
I don't
there?
think he can. But people watch. They'll watch the tape. They'll see that in 20 minutes he did X, Y, and Z.
They ain't gonna pay $30 million for 20 minutes.
Yeah, but I think a lot of teams that are going to be back in the free agent market next year, looking to win a championship, are going to look at his attitude. They know if he comes back and looks healthy and plays healthy, they know that he's not going to get the touches to get 25 points a game. They know that. But they want to look to see if Steve Kerr goes to a smaller lineup and Boogie doesn't play, what is his attitude? Because think about it, last year with JaVale McGee, there were times when the lineup wasn't conducive to have a center in there. And it's going to happen like that this year. So that's what they're going to look at.
So I need to bring this back up, and I hate to, but I look back for studies. There was a 2013 study of 18 NBA players who had Achilles ruptures. 7 of them never played again. So that's what you're up against here. This is the worst injury a basketball player can suffer because you lose your calf and your lift. And it's usually never quite the same. It virtually ended Chauncey Billups' career, and it pretty much ground-bound Kobe Bryant, and he was never the same after he ruptured his. Dominique came back, and he was the exception to the rule and was Dominique. And I thought Rudy Gay, for what it's worth, for my San Antonio Spurs last year, he looked pretty good, and that he was good enough that they have now re-signed him for a second year. But they limited his minutes, and DeMarcus will, to your point, will get to limit. I'm not sure they will even let him try to play until January, and he's going to spend a lot of time sitting next to those assistants and Steve Kerr on the bench, just soaking up knowledge. This is how you do it at the highest level.
But what about this? What about the group of people that's over here says, you know what? Yeah, he's on his best behavior because he's making 5.3.
Yeah.
I give him $120 million of my dollars. Is he going to be on his best behavior?
Well, it goes back to the culture, too. I think a lot of teams have to look at it, too. That's a valid question because you know going in that when
Well, he's not getting $120 million from Golden State. So the culture, that's the only culture that can have him.
But you know what, though? Also, too, think about it. I mean, depending on what happens with the Lakers this year, that's still an opportunity with LeBron to be able to go to L.A. So that's a valid point. 5.3, oh, yeah, he's going to be on the best behavior. He knows he has to get a contract, but I guess it depends on who's in that locker room as well if you're that team.
So I'm going to say this one more time, and you can look this up. Before DeMarcus Cousins was drafted, it was he and John Wall off that Kentucky team, and I was adamant on television day after day, I want DeMarcus Cousins with the first overall pick, and there was those on ESPN who laughed at me, and I am right about that because John Wall's been pretty good, but he has not been this guy when this guy has been right. And I realize he's tech-prone, volatile, and divisive. I get that. But last year, before he blew out his Achilles on January 26th, he averaged 25 points and 13 rebounds and 5 assists. 5 assists? That's gift, man. This is a rare specimen of a basketball player.
Those are old school big guy numbers.
And by the way, he shot 35% from the three-point line. I don't. This is superstar stuff. So again, can he ease into that? Can he blend into the system? Well, he can pass the basketball, and they are unselfish often to a fault, and they don't seem to care who gets them. You know, is it Kevin's night? Is it Steph's night? Is it Clay's night? Is it Draymond's night?
But you remember when they went through that dry spell, Skip, what did they say? Kevin Durant is dominating the ball too much. Oh, they need to pass the ball. See, they didn't have a problem with that. They had a problem with ISO until Game 3 of the NBA Finals, when Kevin Durant dominated the ball, and he took the game over. Then all of a sudden, ISO ball okay. You know, I ain't got no problem with ISO ball because ball movement wasn't getting it done.
I got it.
Yep. So, will he make Golden State a lot better? No, because their best lineup is still the smallest lineup, right? Yep. So there are going to be a lot of nights. I don't think he'll play more than 15 or 20 minutes. But does he make them a little better? Yeah, he does, because their one big weakness all last year was they're not a good rebounding team. They got crushed on the boards even in their 4-game sweep of Cleveland in the finals. Will he help remedy that? You better believe he will, because he's a force, man, on the boards.
And he's only the second guy that they have can play with his back to the basket. You know, KD can post up, but most of the guys, you know, they want to shoot the three. Draymond is a guy that you don't really run plays for. You know, he'll dive to the basket. He'll get some putbacks and things like that. But Boogie Cousins can play with his back to the basket. So can Kevin Durant. So, I mean, but their success is independent of Boogie. So what, he helped them win 2 more games, 3 more games? So instead of 64-65, now they win 67-68.
But you know how this is looked upon by Golden State's management. What if he could win one finals game where he just took it over? You know, where he had one big night.
That James Harrison, remember that strip sack in the AFC Championship game?
Huge.
That's all they got him for. They didn't expect James Harrison all of a sudden to be the defensive player of the year that he was 7-8 years ago. Can you give us one play? He gave it to him.
So, Jim, I've already predicted that next year LeBron's team gets swept in the first round by Golden State. Think about this. He's going to get swept in the first round by Golden State.
They're going to be an 8. No. Because here's the thing. I think the playoff picture changes in the West last year. I really don't trust Houston. You lose it to Trevor Ariza.
They won't be quite what they were.
Is Denver really ready? Portland may take a step back.
I don't know.
Now, OKC is an X factor in it because you don't know what's going to happen. If you really look at the West, we always say how tough the West is.
How about Utah? You don't think they're going to be
I
good?
think Utah's going to take a step forward, but that doesn't push the Lakers back to 8th place. There's no way that pushes them back to 8th place.
Somebody up here earlier said that very same thing.
But LeBron done never.
Don't do that. There you go. See, there you go. There you go. There you go. He didn't. We'd have some serious. We might have went 6 or 7 games. We'd had this roster last year in Cleveland.
Oh,
we'd had Kuz.
Wait, by mid-season you'll be saying, "Boy, I wish I had that Cleveland roster."
No, I promise I won't be saying that. I promise. Now they want to trade Kevin Love. Now they trying to get Kevin Love up out of there. You saw that.
Jim,
You want
we convinced you
him
to stick
in
around?
there?
I can't, but how did we get to LeBron?
We always get to LeBron.
See how he curved right to LeBron?
Him. Oh, he gonna be the AC.
Yeah, I know. Lakers. We're talking about Golden State now.
But wouldn't that be something if Golden State swept LeBron in the finals and then swept him in the first round? That would be like bookends.
That's not gonna
It's
happen.
not going to happen.
You don't
It's
think
not
so?
going to
I
happen.
think
No.
it's got
Not
real
gonna
potential.
happen.
They'll be a top 4 seed. The Lakers will be a top 4 seed.
No mercy.
Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Joy Taylor. We're back again tomorrow morning at 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports. One of one.